Imagine an aircraft carrier that flies. Sounds like science fiction, but the US is closer to making it real than you think. Hello everyone. Welcome back to American Military. The US Navy is about to become the US Air Force. Aircraft carriers are about to become aircraft just like the planes that take off from them. These flying aircraft carriers would launch into the skies instead of the seas, but for the same reason, to project the might of the US Navy in the brightest colors. As uncommon as the concept of a flying aircraft carrier is, it isn't a new idea. It's actually been around since the era of the World Wars, and now, thanks to advances in technology, it's receiving renewed attention. The US is once again aiming for revolutionary flying carriers. Why now? So why is this getting attention right now? A big part of it comes down to the complete dominance of American sea-based aircraft carriers today. In fact, the US owns roughly 25% of the world's aircraft carriers, and their total deck space is more than double that of every other nation combined. On top of that, the lead ship of the USS Ford-class carriers is more lethal than any carrier in history. Here's the proof: 3 features that set it apart. Nuclear power. 2 Bechtel A-1B nuclear reactors, the most cutting-edge engines ever built for use on water power the USS Gerald, are Ford. Because of that, the carrier only needs to be refueled once over its entire 50-year operational life. That means the Ford can run for 25 years straight without refueling, and with a peak speed of around 30 knots, it can reach any country on the planet just in time to pay friendly visits to allies or wreak havoc on enemies. Sensors and processing. The USS Ford carries the latest sensors, processors, and weapons needed to stay both smart and lethal. Unlike almost every other carrier in the world, it uses a single system for both horizon and volume search, the AN/SPY 3 multifunction radar. It's the most advanced radar system in the US arsenal, capable of surveillance, air traffic control, missile communications, and spotting targets from miles away. Fighter jets and UAVs. American fighter jets and UAVs. Up to 75 fighter jets and drones can call the USS Ford home at once, including the Navy's favorite child, the 5th-generation F-35C Lightning II. Its development program is the most expensive weapons program in Pentagon history, costing a reported $400 billion. The payoff. A fighter that can do it all: close air support, vertical takeoff and landing, you name it. And when the 6th-generation F/A-XX fighter finally takes the stage, the Ford will already be equipped to host, launch, and recover it too. Put it all together, and the US is nearly undefeatable at sea. An airborne version of all this firepower could make America just as dominant in the skies, and that's the ultimate goal behind decades of flying carrier programs. A century of flying carriers. Real flying carrier concepts might not be as dramatic as Marvel's helicarrier, but they're as close as anyone has gotten in the last 100 years. And the story starts with airships. Airship parasite fighters. Back in 1917, engineers experimented with aircraft slung beneath airships, tiny microfighters, whose main job was to defend the airship itself. But once airships fell out of fashion, new flying carrier concepts began to emerge, each one wilder than the last. Boeing 747 Airborne Aircraft Carrier. In the 1970s, the US Air Force looked into converting a large aircraft into a flying carrier full of parasite fighters that could launch and land mid-air. Boeing beat out the Lockheed C-5 Galaxy by proving the 747 had superior range with a full payload of 883,000 pounds, enough to carry 10 microfighters at once. But concerns over fuel range and combat performance kept it grounded on paper. Still, the project proved the concept was technically feasible, just expensive. Nuclear-powered Lockheed CL-1201. This one's almost hard to believe. Lockheed proposed a flying aircraft carrier the size of a real carrier ship, 5,265 tons, as tall as a 14-story building, with a 1,120-foot wingspan and a fuselage as long as 2.5 Boeing 747s end-to-end. 4 turbofan engines would get it up to 16,000 feet. Then an onboard nuclear reactor would take over, powering it for 41 days straight without landing, cruising at Mach 0.8, 30,000 feet up. Crew of 845. 22 fighters on board. Sounds incredible, and it probably would have cost billions, which is exactly why it never left the drawing board. The B-36 Peacemaker. This massive Cold War bomber was also eyed as a flying carrier, meant to launch up to 4 McDonnell F-85 Goblin microfighters. With a 230-foot wingspan and a fully loaded weight of 410,000 pounds, it dwarfed even the B-52. It was built to bomb Berlin, but World War II ended before it was ready. The Air Force considered using it as a flying carrier anyway, until mid-air refueling made the whole concept unnecessary. Lockheed's C-130 Hercules. And now, the modern chapter. Since 2015, DARPA has been testing a modified C-130 Hercules that deploys and recovers Dynetics X-61 Gremlin drones microfighters of the drone age. Testing is happening right now at Dugway Proving Grounds. In January 2026, DARPA successfully launched a Gremlin drone from the C-130's bay. If this program succeeds, the US could deploy drones from a mothership while staying outside enemy air defenses, letting the drones fight and then return home for repairs. Not every test has gone perfectly. One drone was lost to a parachute failure after 90 minutes of flight. But that's a fixable problem, and the program is expected to keep moving forward, paving the way for a new era of flying carriers to back up America's already dominant fleet at sea. And according to experts, this fleet of aircraft carriers and flying carriers is only going to get more powerful if you subscribe to this channel and give this video a like. Remember, that's according to experts. So, go ahead and do it. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching.
I'm a human being, cover them with tattoos so you can't see. Knew it from the start.